January is a month of promise as we all start our New Year's resolutions and aim to be happier and healthier. And one challenge that has gained a lot of momentum since starting in 2014 is that of Veganuary, and that's where you follow a vegan diet for the month of January. That means eating no animal-based products, so no meat, dairy, eggs, and following a plant-based diet. A vegan lifestyle also encompasses not using any animal-derived materials like leather, not using any products tested on animals, and not going to any animal entertainment shows, for example, circuses. So why go vegan? Well, there are a number of motivations for following a vegan lifestyle. Firstly, for the animals. It is an easy way to minimise the cruelty and exploitation of animals. Number two, for your health. There is absolutely no denying that we could all do with eating more plant-based foods. And vegans are more likely with this increased amount of fruit and vegetable to have higher amounts of fibre in their diet, antioxidants and certain vitamins. We know through studies that vegans have a lower incidence of heart disease, type 2 diabetes and even cancer. For the environment. Now, the UN quote that livestock farming accounts for 14.5% of the greenhouse gases. So if we all made that shift to go vegan, by 2050, we could reduce that amount of greenhouse gas by 70%. So what are the downsides to going vegan? Well, the studies are somewhat inconclusive over whether a strictly vegan diet is any better for you than a diet that contains more plant-based foods and less animal products, which are higher in saturated fats. For example, we know that based on many other studies, a Mediterranean diet is considered one of the more healthier ones, and that does still contain lean meats and fish. But it means that you are less likely to be suffering with nutritional deficiencies. So what kind of nutritional deficiencies might a vegan have? Well, we find that this diet puts you at higher risk of having deficiencies in calcium, iron, vitamin B12 and omega-3. Now, calcium is required to make healthy bones and teeth, and it's found primarily in dairy products, but it can also be found in green leafy vegetables, and there are many breads and milks now that have been fortified with it. It can also be found in sesame seeds. So there are ways to still be able to get enough calcium through your diet if you are vegan. Iron is required for the production of our red blood cells, and it's found really easily in red meat, but it's also found abundantly in lots of vegetables. But it is harder for our body to absorb iron from vegetables, so more of it is needed. It can be found in green leafy vegetables, fortified cereals, pulses, nuts. A little trick to try and help increase the amount of iron that we absorb is to have it alongside something rich in vitamin C. So for example, a glass of orange juice. Vitamin B12 is also required for healthy red blood cells and for our healthy nervous system, and it is found in meat and dairy products. For the vegans out there, there are cereals and milks and yeast extracts which have all been fortified with vitamin B12. Omega-3 is essential for the healthy functioning of all the membranes that surround each one of our cells, and it's also been implicated in a healthy immune system. There are 3 different forms of omega-3, one of which is found abundantly in foods like nuts, seeds and vegetable oils, but the other 2 are found primarily in oily fish, so it can be hard for a vegan to get the full complement of omega-3. Another downside to veganism is, whilst studies have shown it decreases your risk of heart disease, a huge study of over 50,000 people spanning 18 years showed that vegetarians and vegans have an increased risk of stroke, though no cause has been identified. Finally, vegan junk food does still exist. So if you are just going to be eating fried vegan foods or, chips all the time, you aren't going to achieve that healthier existence. And we know that processed vegan foods can still be damaging for the environment. So for example, a single glass of almond milk requires 74 litres of water, though it is still fair to say that this is significantly less than with dairy milk. Ultimately, trying Veganuary this January is a great idea. It'll give you a better understanding of a vegan lifestyle and also increase your amount of plant-based foods. But if you are going to continue this lifestyle going forward, please just make sure that you do plan your meals and ensure that you are fulfilling all your nutritional needs.